Great. Hey, welcome everybody. If you go ahead and leave your name and school in the chat, we'll get started here really soon. Katie, when we've got we looks like we've got everybody that's going to show, we'll just start.
I have a group of teachers who are watching all together just at the
Okay.
end of our training. So you guys don't need to all put your names in the chat. I got you.
Okay, great. Now let's go ahead and get started. Sound good, Katie?
Yes. Yes.
Great. Hey, welcome to National Engineers Week. We'll go over introductions here pretty soon. I want to say it's been a new year and a new way we're doing it. So there are going to be a few changes. It is going to be a fun event. I do want to talk about, first of all, the impact that we have. Um, we're going beyond just having Intel volunteer or visitors this year. We're calling them visitors instead of volunteers. Intel did fund it, but we do have a few more industry partners joining us this year, Analog Devices, Lam Research, and Edwards. So that's fantastic. We're going to be in 37 schools and serve over 2,000 students. We have 143 volunteers signed up to cover 76 classrooms. So I'd like to say a special thanks to the visitors that do multi-day, because without them, we wouldn't be there. This is going to be a little different. I remember seeing some comments about, hey, I had 6 or 7 volunteers. We have approximately 2.3 volunteers per classroom, and that includes volunteers that are in multiple spots. So it's going to be a different year for sure. My name is David Strayer. I'm with Portland Metro STEM Partnership. I am the project coordinator for the National Engineers Week, and I have Katie and Mandy here with their respective school districts. So if Katie or Mandy would like to go next.
Hi, everybody. I'm Katie White. I'm an elementary science TOSA in Beaverton School District. Nice to see you all.
Hey everyone, good to see you. Thank you for being here. My name is Mandy Weddle, K-8 Math and STEM TOSA in Hillsborough.
And I would like to point out that, yes, that is me fishing. That we'll get more into that later on. So that's your teaser for the last slide in this presentation. So look forward to that. Okay, big overview, right? It's National Engineers Week. It's always the last week in February. Industry and supporters are going to come to your classrooms for 1 hour time frame, and they're going to get some training beforehand so that everyone's kind of on the same sheet of music. We already did that last week. It was interesting, and we look forward to having it. I know they're all excited to be there. So I thought, because we took a little different stance, and it's a little different than years past, that we kind of go through the sequence of events, and some of these have happened. And then some of these you'll be like, oh, I haven't done that yet. And then you can write down a note and say, hey, I need to do that. So you all received kind of invitations to fill out a form to sign up. All right. Then I matched visitors to meet your needs. You usually got first or second. I tried to make it your first or second of a time block that met the industry volunteers time block. Then you probably got, unfortunately, the first email from me, which was, hey, here's your visitors, and they're CC'd. So the goal of that was to connect you with visitors. In the past, there's been like an Intel team lead, and that's when Intel had like 4 or 5 visitors per. So we're back to kind of 2 visitors per classroom. So we got rid of the team lead because we also had other industries involved. Okay, so you'll be interacting directly with your 2 or 3 visitors. What we need you to do is email back, and this is very important because this is what the visitors are waiting for, is the exact hour that you want to start. So for instance, if your block was designated as Thursday from 8:30 to 11:30 and you want to be at 9:05 to 10:05, then that's what you need to let the visitor know. Please do be specific, not anytime during the thing, because some of these visitors don't work together, aren't even in the same building, and aren't even in the same company. So if you want 2 visitors there at the same time, you're going to have a very specific time frame. Now, I, of course, have asked them to show up 15 minutes prior. so that they can get through the check-in procedures and stuff like that into your school. And you should be hearing back from your visitors to saying, yep, I got it. You need me at 10:15 on Wednesday or whenever that is. Okay, so you may be able to set up a visitor call. I don't know. You have to remember that a lot of the visitors that are coming work in high tech. And then when I was in high tech, we had a joke that said you go to work and you come home in the dark, even during the summer. So they may or may not have availability. Weekends don't exist. That's just another day to get the grind done. So it could be a challenge. Please do communicate with the industry people. One thing is very important is this year, we're not going to, you can send them the first slide on the slide deck. Katie, if you'll send out another link to, I sent out the chip sorter guide presentation. The second or third one is the engineer's slide of that deck, the engineer's introduction on that. So we'll get to more of that later. But if you'll make a copy of that now onto your own hard drive, that'd be great. Okay, and then, obviously have fun and preparing kids. You know how to do that. This year's is going to be a lot different than before. We kind of went back and forth the last 9 years between two programs. This one's going to be a new one. It's going to be Chip Sorter Challenge. It's a new one. It's going to be very exciting. It's a little more challenging, but I think it'll be more rewarding as well. On the right, you'll see what you'll get is what's called a classroom kit. You should be getting those this week. I believe Katie is delivering them today and tomorrow. And Mandy, you're putting it through the system, right? So do you have an ETA on those, or is it just the system is going to work?
Well, yes, the system will work. Fourth grade teachers who were at my training today got their materials. Everybody else, you will be receiving your materials by the end of this week through our district mail, and it's going to be one of those bags on the right.
So on the left, you'll see the kits, everything. So those are team kits. Every bag has 8 team kits. So a team can be up to 4 individuals. All right. The only thing that you're going to have to deal with is that for storage and moving purposes, we had to collate the cups and bowls. So you'll have to distribute the cups and bowls with the bags of everything else. Also in these bags, so that's actually the what you have there is every team should have this bill of materials. It's what engineers call that list of things, is a bill of materials. You'll also have 2 half sheets for your visitors and a student design notebook. So this year, Katie and Mandy have created a design notebook to help guide the students through the program. So on the left, I'll start with the half sheet. It has the agenda. The agenda is a little different this year. First is going to be an intro, as it has been in the past. But what we'd like to have you do is just have the engineer, and they've been briefed on this, that it's kind of like, hi, my name is Dave, and I'm from this company, and I'm happy to be here. So really 1 minute for both, so 30 seconds apiece for them. It's because what we want to do is get into the fun before the engineer starts giving their life story. Okay. So then you've got the what is a microchip? That's the 10-minute presentation that you'll be giving. Then that's that chip sorter guide. And then we'll do 34 minutes of building and designing. Then we'll showcase maybe as much as we can, the successful chip sorting. And then the last 10 minutes will be Q&A for the students to ask the engineers about what it's like to be in high tech and those sorts of things. And on the right of the sheet, we've got some leading questions. Really kind of one of the challenges you're going to have, and many of you have probably had to deal with this, is you're going to get a lot of problem solvers that want to get both hands on the problem and solve it for the kids. And we all know that that's not really building STEM identity. That's just proving that the person that showed up can do things, right? So guiding your, hopefully some of these questions will help have that problem solver step back and be kind of a guider as opposed to a hands-on problem solver, as well as it gives them something to say besides good job, right? And on the right is the student design notebook. You should have both of those. I emailed them out. If there are any questions on the design notebook, maybe we'll cover those at the end. Okay. So we covered the agenda. Oh, here we are. So we've got the slides. So right now, if you'll make sure that you've got a copy of your own set of slides for the chip sorter slides. The slide we're talking about for the engineers is the one that says introductions and it's got name and title. So because we only have 2, maybe 3 people, if you want to send out that slide so they can put in their name and their title and their picture, that's great. If you want to just have them send you a picture cropped to the proper dimensions and you can just put in an email with their name and title, then that would work too. So when we had 3 and 4 and 5 people that worked, there was a different thing, but now it's just 1 or it's just 2 or 3. So that's that.
And Dave, I just want to tell everybody your chips shorter slides link is in the chat, and go ahead and make a copy of that. And Dave said before.
And are there any questions?
I also put the chip sorting design notebook in the chat if you want to take a look at it. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dave and Mandy, but we will be printing that. So there is a copy, or they need to print.
No, there are 32 pieces of paper in each classroom kit. So the half sheet, there are 2 in each. And then the design notebook is 32 in each, except for Online Academy. Online Academy obviously is only going to have 1 per, or it's just going to have the design notebook.
And then Mandy and I, as we went through the chip sorter description slides, we were thinking that a description of what a microchip is would be helpful for students before they head into this project. So we designed a couple slides around them saying, what do I already know about that? And just having the kids kind of talk. It's a prior knowledge building and space for them to think about it prior to diving deep into what they think it is and learning more detail about what it means for Intel and our community. So we have a couple of slides to guide that. And Mandy and I were talking about if this is a better thing for teachers to kind of organize in the classroom and have teachers say, hey, kids, let's do some turn and talk. What do we think? Or for the visitors to say that. And I really lean on the side of the teachers doing that piece because you know your students best and how they group and discuss things. So that would be like slide 4 in your chip sorter description. And then on slide 5, we just had a real brief description of it, and that's where your visitor might want to chime in because they're really the experts, or some of them are the experts in this information around a microchip. 5, actually, it's actually 5, 6, and 7. If you want to preview any of this information, there's a real nice video that we found around how the chips are moved through. And Dave, you might want to chime in on this one because I'm not the expert in this, but how they are moved through the systems for their different stages. And we thought this would be fun for the kids to see and get a better sense of what they're building and designing. Mandy, is there anything you want to add to this?
No, just that the design itself is this idea around you have these chips where we're using game chips, right? And the goal of the design is for the students to be able to create something that will sort the chips by size and color into those smaller cups. So that's the goal. They could do, there's, lots of different ways that they could do that, but connecting to this idea that microchips are really small, delicate, expensive materials that need to be taken care of, taken really careful care of. And so they are not going to want to get their fingers, you wouldn't want to get fingerprints on them. So thinking about how you might move these without using your fingers to do the sorting. So those first few slides are all about just kind of setting this up for them to understand kind of how this game chip sorting challenge is connected to the world of microchips and microchip design.
And then the sheet that you have, I also put that, we're going to print, it's printed for you. We're bringing that to you. But the sheet you have, which is the chip sorting design notebook, is to help guide students through that design thinking process. And so it'd be a good idea to preview that yourselves and look at what are the different things they're going to be asked to do on this sheet. But you also might want to preview it with your students and just talk about what each of those different hexagons is telling you to do in the design thinking process. Mandy and I were talking about empathy-centered design thinking and who is your user and what is the problem, what is their need, and that gives you a lot of context for why you're doing the thing you're doing, why you're building or creating a design or solving a problem. And that's the gist of it. So starting off with, what are we making? Why are we making it? Who is the audience for this? And then what could be a solution to this? And this sheet should guide the students through that design thinking process and writing out their ideas on the first page, and then trying it, prototyping it, testing it. Did it work? Did it not work? Refining it, iterating it, and testing it again, and then iterating it again. So they should not just be building something and then I'm done. Ideally, it's not, I'm done, but how could there should be question prompts, inquiry prompts. How could you make this more efficient? Or it looks like you're using your hands for most of this. Is there a way to do it without using your hands for most of this? Just to encourage them to have better and stronger design ideas. And I think that's an important piece coming from teachers to ask those inquiry questions of the students to get them to really have some fun and inquire into this idea. Anything to add to that, Mandy?
No, I think that's so we really want to give kids like a solid 30 minutes of just being able to build and make adjustments and test again and work through that process. That visitors to your classroom should be circulating and checking in with different groups and asking those questions on that half sheet that Dave talked about earlier. And then if there's time at the end, two things. You could have a chance for each group to kind of share whole group while the visitors are still there, how their prototype was built and how effective it is. If there's not time for that while the visitors are there, that's something that you could do after the visitors leave. The other thing that's just kind of like you need to play by ear is how much time you want to give for question and answer of students and visitors at the end of your time together. The last part of that design notebook is a reflection piece, just trying to incorporate some writing into this activity. And again, that's something that doesn't have to be done within this 1 hour time period while your visitors are there if you wanted to follow up with that at a later time. Those are just kind of some of those pieces around flexibility for you all.
Great.
Yeah, is there anything else? I feel like that's pretty much summarizing the logistics of the day, as well as the kind of presentation of in parts of the experiment. Is there anybody who has questions to either add to the chat or unmute and ask to the group?
I just also want to share, some of you have probably done this for a few years, which is awesome. So you know what the experience is kind of like having the visitors come into your classroom. And for some of you, this might be brand new. And you are the expert educators in the room when those visitors are there. So lean on your skills and your experience and talent as educators to help the students move through this experience. The visitors are going to come in with expertise in their areas and be able to share that and connect students to the wider community. But really, the students know you and you know them. So be a big part of this on that day. And it'll be fun. I think it'll be fun for everyone.
Yep, and I will just add that any front loading you can do with students ahead of time, just so that they're prepared for visitors to come. If you could have those groups already put together so that that's not something that has to be done while the visitors are there. All of those kind of preparation things will be just make that 1 hour run smoothly. Also, I just saw the question in the chat. So there are enough supplies for 8 groups of students. So we were hoping that nobody would need to have more than 4 students in a group. If that's everything, I know we'll be following up with an email to everyone that has a link to this recording, and we'll include links to slides and any of the other resources that were included in the chat today in that email so that you've got everything in one place. And as always, if you have questions, you in Hillsborough, you can reach out to me, or Beaverton, reach out to Katie, and we'll be sure that you guys get what you need. But thank you so much for participating in this, and I think your students are going to have a great time.
Yep. And please, if you can send that, if you haven't sent that email with that 1 hour that you want them there, please send that out tonight.
Thank you,
That's it.
everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.